Social media accounts can bring us closer to the people and things that we love. They give the everyday average person a public platform where they can speak their mind and share their interest. As of 2016, 45% of the world's population actively used at least one social media account a day. That number has continued to grow every day for the last few years, so luckily for web surfers, there's always someone to connect with. Of course, the frequent use of social media means that a variety of sad and disturbing posts may be shared. Similarly, people use their accounts so frequently that it's very common some may post content just before vanishing. Number 5. 18-year-old Karina Schlosser vanished in September of 2017. Karina, a former cheerleader, was described as happy, responsible, and compassionate by her mother, and was last seen leaving a hotel in Queens, New York on September 20th. She was originally from Pennsylvania and had not been in New York very long when she went missing. Her mother, Sabina Totoro, told investigators that she'd talked to her daughter recently about going down to Florida for her grandfather's funeral. Unfortunately, Karina had no money, no ID, and no social security card. Karina told her mother she wanted to sort out those issues and will return home to Pennsylvania where her mother lived after the funeral. That was one of the last times the pair spoke. After that phone call, several days passed in which Sabina had no contact with her daughter. She explained that her daughter was usually adamant about staying in touch and she worried something had happened. While still in her home state, Sabina called New York law enforcement to report her daughter as missing. A brief search followed and officers were able to gather witness reports from Karina leaving her hotel. However, not much information was uncovered. On September 8, 2017, 12 days before going missing, Karina posted a selfie to her Instagram account. In it, she looked pretty healthy, happy, and safe. A few days later, about 10 days before the vanishing, Karina also posted a photo of an anonymous man smoking. The photo's location was tagged as Bronx, New York. This helped investigators push their search a few steps further, but unfortunately that small bit of information was not enough to bring Karina home. In fact, the case still stood for over a year. In October of 2018, an Instagram photo was discovered which showed the missing woman. Sabina was able to confirm that the woman in the photo was her daughter, but that her appearance had clearly been altered. In the photo, Karina sits to the left of a male smoking a cigarette, striking a pose. Another woman smiles and holds the camera to the far right. In the photos, before her disappearance, Karina had healthy blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and a face full of makeup and a healthy body type. In the new photo, Sabina's mom stated she looked tired and unhealthy, with no makeup on and having lost a significant amount of weight. Sabina fears that her daughter was forced to change her appearance, and 23-year-old Delecia Waddy, the man allegedly in the photo with Karina, was arrested by the FBI and charged with trafficking Karina and a second unidentified woman. However, Karina has yet to return home. Number 4. The 4th of July is an American holiday filled with fireworks, barbecue, and quality family time for most people. In this case, it was not all fun and games though. Instead, it was the date a mother would vanish. Then 29-year-old Lilia Faulkner broke up with her live-in boyfriend and moved into her parents' house, Susan and Rick, with their young daughter. On July 4th, 2016, Susan and Rick took their granddaughter to an Independence Day celebration. They left for the event without Lilia, who had decided to stay home. They returned a few hours later around 5:30 p.m. to find Lilia still at home. Susan and Rick took their granddaughter upstairs to get her ready for bed when they heard Lilia leave through the front door without saying goodbye. Just before leaving, right around the time her parents returned, Lilia posted to Facebook using a home computer. The post said, "Just wanted to give a shout out to all those that care. And to Blaine Grawl here, thank you for showing me that a woman can still have a butt like mine and still be left for another man. To the family, that helps so much. Thank you for giving me a place to rest my head for the night after being given 2 days to pack my stuff from the house. I've been paying half of the bills, and you can check the bank records on the withdrawals that he debited from the account. Thank you for giving a renewed sense that there is still some hope in the world. Thank you for showing me compassion where the ones that loved me didn't." Clearly this post is composed as some sort of farewell with tones of rage and disappointment. Lilia was never heard from again, and still to this day this is the last post on her page. Lilia and her ex had been fighting over Facebook earlier that same day, and many of the accusations in her final post were directed at her ex. However, he told investigators that the breakup was mutual and mostly caused by Lilia's substance problem. Lilia has still not been found to this day. Number 3. 25-year-old realtor Camellia Perez Hernandez created a Facebook post on July 11, 2016. The post was written in Spanish and roughly translates to, "It's confirmed I'm going to be a mom. I didn't expect it or plan it, and I still can't believe it. Tomorrow I have an appointment with my gynecologist to determine the maturity of my pregnancy." Obviously, this status caused a lot of buzz and stir online. Friends and family members took to congratulating the young woman or even expressing surprise. After making the post later that evening, Camellia talked to her sister on the phone and allegedly confessed that the pregnancy announcement was just a joke. That was the last time anyone heard from her. Family members tried to contact her throughout the later hours of July 11th and the early morning of July 12th. They even went to her apartment to see if she was home and perhaps having trouble with her phone, but she didn't answer the door. Her family agreed that it was time to call police because something seriously was going on. Officers entered the home and found it to be vacant. Many of her personal items had been removed for unknown reasons. A further search found surveillance footage from July 11th and showed Camellia and a 41-year-old named Luis Rodriguez leaving the complex together. The two had been secretly dating for months, and detectives believe that this footage was recorded because the pair walked down a nearby trail to do yoga in a wooded area. A yoga mat and gym shorts, allegedly belonging to Camellia, were found at the end of the trail. Very few people knew about Camellia's secret boyfriend, but those that did offered information to investigators. They said that Camellia told them she was unhappy in her relationship and that Luis was often violent or disrespectful to her. Those witnesses theorized to officers that Camellia may have been trying to end things with Luis, which caused the situation to take a dark turn. This obviously made Luis a main suspect. On July 12th, the day that she was reported missing, Luis didn't show up for work, which only added fuel to the suspicions. Other friends and coworkers also speculated that her pregnancy announcement may not have been a joke and could have led the relationship to turn violent. A warrant was later issued for Luis's arrest due to his alleged involvement in the young woman's disappearance, but she still has not been found. Number 2. Delecia Waddy was 24 when she went missing from Doswell, Virginia in March of 2017. Delicia's mother called authorities to report that she'd not heard from her daughter in several days. She described this behavior as bizarre and worried that something bad had happened. When detectives began working the case, a huge search was organized which covered miles and miles of city streets, residential neighborhoods, and forested areas. The search has included witness interviews and a collection of surveillance footage. Witnesses reported that Delecia was last seen at the Kings Dominion Camp Wilderness Campground at about 11:30 a.m. on Thursday, March 9th. However, investigators found another sighting of Delecia thanks to surveillance footage found in Newbridge Village apartments. The video showed Delecia walking to her SUV and driving away around 9:30 a.m. on Friday, March 10th. The most disturbing piece of evidence that officers stumbled upon was Delicia's final Facebook post from the day before she went missing. The post said, "It's never too late to do the right thing. Don't get discouraged." The post did not initially spark concern for her friends and family members. In fact, it was likely glossed over entirely. In combination with Delecia being reported missing though, it's an important yet cryptic part of the search. The post led to speculation that Delecia may have been planning something secretive having to do with guilt. It was still strange though that Delecia would just vanish without talking to her family regardless of what her plans were. Delicia's SUV was found abandoned somewhere in the city despite being in working condition. No evidence inside the car suggested that there was a struggle or an intruder. Search dogs traced her scent to a home in Caroline County. Delecia was not there, but this piece of evidence, combined with their final Facebook post, caused the search to be called off. Although Delecia has still not been found, law enforcement believes she's not in any danger. Number 1. A 32-year-old mother, Jaime Barrera, went missing in February of 2016 from Levittown, Pennsylvania. On the evening of February 5th, Jaime posted a heartfelt letter to her children that seems almost like a goodbye. Jaime had sadly been struggling with addiction and mental illness for several years, and she checked into a rehab and mental health facility for 6 months just before she went missing. It's unclear who first filed the report, but many members of her family were worried they didn't hear from her for several days, and after being reported missing, investigators created a search party and took to interviewing possible witnesses. It was discovered that Jaime had rented a hotel room for a week, which she'd paid for in advance. Strangely, she only stayed in the room one night before disappearing, which suggests she may have initially left with every intention of returning. She was last seen by witnesses walking along Bustleton Avenue. Some speculate that Jaime may have had a relapse and was out looking to score. Similarly, there's a theory that claims Jaime was involved in a bad deal and got hurt. Her friends and family, though, just hope that she's safe and not in danger. She still has not been found, and the touching yet heartbreaking Facebook post to her children is still the last known activity of Jaime. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, be sure to click that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep updated with our videos. And if you enjoyed this narration, maybe consider checking out my personal channel at youtube.com/Ty_Knots.